o'clock in the morning. On the agenda, we've got a whole bunch of things in a row here, but the first thing is the county contribution for employer-paid health insurance decision. Anybody else coming to come and twist our arms one way or the other? Just you two? Oh wait, we have Miss Brown. She's a good arm twister. She's a little bit taller than me, that's why I say that.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
You stuffed me in a basketball game once, remember?
Say you're a good arm twister.
I have not written anything on it yet.
And then you can tell us how you really feel?
He's holding up my note.
I haven't, but you notice I did not write anything on it. You may be able to twist my arm.
Really?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh.
If you're strong enough, how strong are you?
So you guys can be bribed a little bit.
Oh, was there a statement you wanted to read to us before we...
Huh?
Is there a statement you wanted to be read? Or we'll just let you say it in person, I guess.
I'm not in charge.
I know, but you have feelings about this topic. You're here today.
Oh. Are we?
Okay, the meeting is open.
Oh.
We're here to talk about the employer-paid health insurance. And we have some employees here, so.
Well, I think the last time we were here, we kind of lined out what the employees were hoping to see and to continue and that kind of thing. And I thought we had a nice meeting the last time, lining everything out and giving reasons and that kind of thing. So I don't know what if you're looking for more information today, or if you've made a decision, or...
Has anybody's mind changed over the...
I don't think so. I think they're wanting the health care paid by the county. Is Shirley here today? Oh.
Didn't you you said you disagree with her? Didn't I hear you say that?
Did I say that?
You know, I have to tease you candidly, but
He's always the talkative one.
yeah.
I didn't realize I said that.
There is a united
like all
front
of us,
with all
you know.
of the employees, so that's a good thing. So.
Well, we always struggle here. We were just talking about, like last year where we had to make a tough decision on regarding monies running the board. We are the commissioner board and what we oversee. And then we have the tough decision that the library board has to make with their lack of funds. And then the fair board, they took a lack of funds and they're going to have to try to work within their means. So basically we always struggle with working within our small little peanut shell of money. But, well, is there any further discussion, or should you guys want to hear what your commissioners think? Emily's
Wait.
here. Does she have a speech?
Nope.
Okay. So anyway, but we've been looking at our funding, and we've talked to Jessica, and we know that we don't pay you guys very much money, so I, for one, am inclined to agree with what you said, not what you said, Cantilever, but what she said. But now I'll let Dwayne and Lori say their feelings, but if they want to say anything. Then we'll
No.
put it to a vote, right?
Yeah, no, I feel the same thing. I mean, our finances are limited, and you guys work really hard for what you do, and we appreciate it. And, I think any help we can give you, we can, we're gonna do what we can with what we have, so.
Yep, and I feel the same way, and I always have. I mean, I've never made any beans about the insurance package. I always thought it was a great thing, and I continue to think that, and we'll pay it as long as we can. And I think we can.
Yeah, we feel, pretty bad that the wages are low and we wish they were higher, but if this is one perk we can float everybody's way, it's a benefit and it's tax-free and it's a good plan, then I think we need to make it happen as best we can too. Any further discussion or comment? Did you want to try to talk me out of it, Candelabra?
No, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Kim looks like she came in for an
Yeah.
argument.
That's coming for support.
She's not gonna talk you out of it either.
I'm supporting you there.
Okay. Yeah, we were just saying, we know you guys don't make a lot, and we talked to Jessica, and we think we can afford and go ahead and do this, so. I guess without further discussion, we'll see if there's a motion on the floor.
I would make that motion for Mineral County to pay the full contribution for the employees and for their health care.
I'll second that.
And do we need to name up the plan and which one we're paying for? Or
I think the plan that we have right now.
Okay.
I think it's the RM15.
Okay. All right, so
RM15.
just to make it clear. Okay, the RM 1500 plan. All in favor of Commissioner Simon's motion, say aye. Oh,
Aye.
Are you including the dental with that like you did last year?
yeah, it's the same as last year.
That's what
Okay.
you
Yeah.
got right now.
Okay, I heard an aye from Commissioner Simons. He's concurring with his own motion, which is, that doesn't always happen in Washington DC, by the
That's
way.
right.
They'll make a motion, they won't even vote for it.
Yeah.
Commissioner Johnson?
I said aye.
Aye, and I am an aye. Any opposed? Seeing none? All right.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
And there is one other new benefit to that they're paying $2,000 on the hearing aid this year, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Huh?
Yeah, say what?
I can only afford half of one.
Yeah.
And if I clean the wax out of my other ear, I might be all right.
(9:30), and we have the topic on the agenda, the Treasurer's Office Deputy Clerk Position Review and Discussion. So when do you lose your deputy? I'm out of the loop on that.
Not this Friday, but next Friday. She gave 2 weeks' notice on Monday. And it's May, so I'm in panic mode.
You're still mailing out some tax stuff, or?
It just coming in. May is my busiest month for motor vehicle, always has been, and second busiest on taxes. And just Claudia and I, there's just no way, but Jessica offered to come in and help do mail, remit tax payments, and so did Casey, so that'll certainly help.
Okay. If there's something simple I can do, like stuff an envelope, let me know.
Okay.
I probably can't do your
Well,
entries on the computer, because I'd probably give somebody a double dose, or
Or
I'd
a
say,
refund.
or I'd give Dwayne a refund. Yeah.
Lois thinks that she'll have mobile home to me on the 22nd, and I need to have them out by the 30th, hopefully, so they can be due by June 30th, but there's not that many. It takes about a day to get them balanced and printed and then stuff. So I probably could have some stuffing to do, but it'll be later. What day is it? That, this week here, if I could have them out by then, I'd be really happy. But it depends on when Lois gets some turned over to me. And I'm asking them to be able to hire another employee. We had to offer it back up to Dawn because she was ripped, and I guess we have to do that for a year. So Casey wrote her a letter and gave her 5 days, Casey?
Well, I haven't done it yet because it's dependent on if your clerk is gonna take. the
It would
position.
depend on what position we
Oh.
advertise for.
Yeah.
And it would depend
It's
on
gonna
what
vary.
position is recalled.
But if that clerk position is open, then yes, we'll recall
I have
Dawn.
offered the deputy position to Claudia. 'Cause she already pretty much knows the job, so I'd like to give it to her, but I was hoping that we would still have the same wage as what Shirley's making, but I don't know. So I think that's probably where we're at today,
Oh,
is what
okay.
the wage is gonna be.
Oh, okay, so backing up then, she's gonna accept it regardless of what the wage may or may not be. Because that's why she hadn't sent the letter out, because what if whatever comes up for today is shy of her expectations and she turns it down, then we're not gonna be sending a letter to Don Terrell, because now we're advertising for the deputy position, not the clerk position.
Yeah.
So that's why she's waiting to see what happens today.
I
So
see.
then you'll know absolutely if Claudia is cool with the job and the promotion and the. So what were you thinking for Claudia?
That I'd like to, at least is what Shirley was making. And that was, I'm not sure.
What does Claudia think it was? I know what it is, 1404, but she started at 12 until she was 6 months.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think it was 14 something.
40, I think.
So in July, she was hired as a deputy,
Mhm.
and she was making 12 for 6 months, because that was kind of like for you to be assured that she knew the job and could actually be the deputy worthy of a certain percentage of your pay. And so you recommended, or it ended up being 71.5% of your pay, and that was 1404. So she went from 12 to 1404 in February. So,
Yeah.
do we have a similar scenario for Claudia that you
Yeah, but
start?
Claudia's already been here 3 years. She knows.
Mm.
If it hadn't have been, because when we brought in Shirley, I didn't know that, I mean,
Mhm.
we lost a clerk, and then Shandell left at the same time. At that point in
Mhm.
time, Claudia didn't want the position because she felt that who would do her work?
Mhm.
Well, she can still do her work. I'll do more of the deputy work and hire another clerk to get in between. But she's already doing well
What's she
more
making now?
work than
Buddy.
970, she's a
what
clerk.
Shirley had ever. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Shirley's a great person, she's been a good asset, but Claudia's way more experienced and knows the job much better than her. She's hardworking, I feel she would deserve that amount. There's not starting again on a probation then, is she, if she changes positions?
I don't think so.
Then we would be just be hiring a clerk at whatever clerks.
Whatever Dawn, yeah, if we call Dawn back, whatever her.
She was still at minimum, I think. Because she wasn't even there a year.
And what year did Claudia start here? Now that we got
She
it.
just had her 3 years. A couple months ago. I'd like to keep her. I mean,
Mhm.
we're overworked. I mean, my office is hard. It's way more work than ever before. I mean,
Mhm.
there's more. We did over 200 titles last month. I mean, the workload is hard. She deserves to be compensated for the work she's doing, and I'm hoping it's compensation. Maybe the insanity that I keep going around every time I get somebody in that's good, I'm losing them. some
Mhm.
wage maybe could help that position. Yeah. I just think it'd be fair to have her make what Shirley was making,
Mhm.
I guess, bottom line.
And right from the step, you think that should be it right from the get-go?
Yeah.
And she's been there for, even
3 years. Yeah.
3 years,
Mhm.
even longer than what Shirley's been, as she came on.
But didn't you just say that you'd probably be doing a lot of the deputy work?
Well, if we, the way things have been structured now,
Mhm.
yes. But Claudia's doing all of the title work, so she still would be the deputy. And maybe just because it's always been that way doesn't mean that it has to still be that way. She's definitely doing the bulk of the workload when it came to titles and registration, that end of it. I'm still doing the paper pushing for all the reports that I do as superintendent of schools. So I would do more of the reporting, just because I don't know what else to do. If I had another person in there, we could split up the work some more. But it's just not feasible with 3 people. And there's just more work than what can be done. I'm thinking that that's just the best way to do it. And when I get another clerk in there, we can start to train and change the workload up a little bit. But right now, I think that's the only solution, is me to do that part of the superintendent of schools, since I already know that. If not, then I'm teaching her a whole nother job this other job. I mean, she's 4 weeks behind on title work just because there's just not enough time in the day. She needs to focus on that because she's good at that. I know the superintendent of schools, and I've taught Shirley how to do the balancing for the schools at the end of the month. So she would still be the deputy, it's just in a little bit different capacity than what it has been in the past.
And you're
But
all
she
right
would
with
be
that?
the go-to person for, if I left the office, I know that she can take care of the work that's done. And even since Shirley's there, Claudia's still probably more of a supervisor than what Shirley was. And I kind of knew this was coming, because I knew that Shirley wasn't real happy where she's at. She's not a secretary, she likes healthcare. So when the opportunity is just such awful timing. And to start all over again, I mean, it's 9 months in and she's really starting to feel comfortable with her work, and then we start all over again. It's just lots and lots to learn.
Well, I think given that Claudia's been there for 3 years and has worked in there, that I think that she deserves being deputy and what the deputy's making.
I'm all right with it, Mary, if you are, as long as,
Yeah.
I just was curious about your statement there, that you were gonna be doing most of the deputy work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Claudia is deserving, she's been here, but like Dwayne said, I want you to be good with it because what if, you know more, I've never seen an evaluation, but you know how efficient she is, how happy she's come to work, how good of a multitasker she is and a juggler, and so it's one good thing to want to reward her if she's a really good employee, but it's another thing if there's someone better out there and you'd rather advertise for a deputy, someone who can be like that, but you know more than I do, but I'm going to defer to whatever you'd like to have happen, but just know that there could be someone that wanted to work as a deputy for more money, but if Claudia is already there and is just as efficient, we should reward her like you're suggesting.
If I put the deputy back out there again, it's such a hard position to be able to hire into. Are they going to be able to know the work?
Mhm.
And there's definitely multitasking. You usually got 5 balls up in the air at any one
Mhm.
time, any day. She's worked herself. I feel that she deserves it. I would have put her in that position
Mhm.
9 months ago, but it's not the way that worked out. And I couldn't convince her that's something that, and I want her to stay. I think that she'll stay even, you know, even if she stayed where she was at and I hired another deputy. But I think I should reward her for the work that she's done and hire her on.
So 9 months ago, you did offer it to her to be the deputy. I wonder why she wasn't interested then.
Because she was worried that the work that she's doing, because she thought that her work would then go to somebody else and she would learn the whole new position.
Oh,
Which is probably where it would have went, and she didn't want to do that. She was scared if she quit doing the title work and all that important work, then who's gonna do it?
Yeah,
And-
she may not have liked the, the deputy position, and then
Yeah.
what, you know, yeah.
but so now she feels more reassured that she'd like to do it, the deputy, and still,
Well, I reassured her that the work that she's doing, she can continue to do, and when we hire someone new in a clerk, then we can give over some of the duties, and if she wants to learn more of the other end of it, then we will start on that, but not take
Mhm.
away what she's doing right now. And she's excellent with the titles, even as many years as I've been here. And when there was 4 people in my office, I was over the other side and I wasn't doing the title work anymore. And a lot of it has changed, and I'm having, over the last 9 months, having a hard time catching up again on rules, and she knows all those and knows how to get the information, and she's good with the customers that come in with title problems, and she's just been a real asset, and I'm hoping she stays. I'm hoping the insanity stops and maybe I can have some people stay for a while. I probably said, oh, I'm good.
any other discussion from the other people in the audience?
Mary knows her office. It's not actually costing any more money. It's just rearranging duties to keep everybody working hard, so.
I don't think the deputy is necessarily, this is your job, this is your job, this is your job. A deputy is your right-hand person, you know,
Knows a little bit of everything.
that knows, you know,
Take the office in
Yep.
my behalf and I'm gone.
yeah, it's not a specific
Titles only.
title job that, you know, to do. It's your right-hand man and woman or, but anyway.
You have to trust that
Yep,
person.
yep,
Yep.
yep. So do we need a motion or?
Yeah, I imagine we
Well,
do.
I'll make a motion that Claudia is willing to accept the deputy position at what Shirley was making, and then I guess we'll have to then, because Dawn was RIF, we'll have to send her a letter and offer that position back, and if not, then we'll advertise for it.
I second that one.
Okay, motion has been made to have the new deputy of the treasurer's office be making 71.5% of Mary Yarnell's, which was the same wage as the departing deputy was making. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And
Yeah.
that week, yeah, I mean, I've got a hospital board meeting on Thursday that week that I'm open to, so if you need
I'll let you
help.
know, because I'll definitely need help, and I'll get some procedures wrote out, so.
And that would take effect on May 19th? Is that when Shirley's done?
Last day.
Yeah, but I don't think we gotta get that, I don't know,
Oh,
can I?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
no, I meant for Claudia's, on her time cards for that to appear would be the pay period when Shirley leaves and then she would step in, or?
Mhm.
Probably, yeah.
and-
Okay.
So we'll
So
Cause
that
didn't you
is
say,
the-
didn't you say Shirley's last day is the
The
19th?
19th.
Right,
Yeah,
okay,
so it would begin on the 22nd.
okay.
Monday, May 22nd.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're here at 10 o'clock for the Resort Board CDBG Planning Grant Application. And Mr. Jasper, you must be representing the board.
I am.
CDBG.
Right, and I think we were in before you guys last year, and it's the same grant or planning grant that we went after last year. It's for that area across from the Super 8 and the Doghouse Saloon that we would like to turn into a park, and see what we can do that way and get the planning for it, and just see what type of money's out there, and see what we can do to facilitate that area of town. You know, you guys probably know more about it than I do because I wasn't on the board last year. I've just seen the sheet that the students from MSU did. Is that it, Roman, that you have there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing as last year, but we'd like to
Yeah.
get started on it and just see kind of where we can go and what we can do.
One of the things I don't know what this is. What is this? Develop a dinner train. What, you know what that means?
Dinner train? No, I don't know. I
No.
know there's a bridge to nowhere in there, but I don't know what the dinner train would be,
Okay.
Well, and I know there's tracks there, and so I don't know if they would do something like Alberton did and put an old caboose there and maybe have, and do something like that where you could bring in, host events in there or something like that. I could see how something like that
It would
work.
go right there where those campers are sitting right now?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Mr. Kepi.
I think there was a bigger vision that was part of a study done by the MSU landscape architecture class when they were involved with the four-way landscaping and all that. They did a complete town-wide recreational trail plan. It's quite a document.
Right.
And one aspect of that was potentially with MRL's cooperation to reconnect that siding to the main line and contract with like an excursion train somewhere else in the Rockies. Like Colorado has excursion trains.
Oh,
Well, even Rail Link has one.
And that's right, they've got their own. And just for another attraction, have a nice little park, kind of a portal to St. Regis there, Gateway Park, have a little bit of railroad history.
And I see that the Hiawatha Trail would kind of come out right there.
Right,
so That would
exactly.
be the other kind of,
Tie into the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, they
Exactly.
would
and it's a good location, visible from the freeway.
Right. Right, and it'll just spruce up that end of
Yeah.
town more than anything, so be a big benefit, so.
Make my wife happy.
There you go. Can't be all bad. Got your vote then.
She's always looking for a hiking, biking path. Not so much on the biking, but I think she would if there was somewhere, the railroad bed's all right, but it knocks the hell out of you until
Exactly, yeah.
if they do something with it as far as that ballast. But she does like walking.
and Emily, what are any of the details you know about the grant proposals this year, deadlines, dates, anything?
As far as planning grants, I believe that's Tim Reed's stuff.
Okay.
I know that they can only apply for one planning grant,
Mhm.
which I know his concern last time was that was what the fairgrounds
Mhm.
was going for, so other than that, I don't know
Mhm.
anything else from him.
But they did go for it, and it was.
I don't know if he reapplied this year for it, but last year
Oh,
they did.
no. He said at that meeting, when we had that meeting with Kevin here, that this was the next one in line. Kim did.
The planning grant for the fairgrounds that Tim submitted last year was rejected.
Mhm.
And
And we never even got to find out
Why?
where in the rejection list, if it was,
We submitted the same grant request the year before through the town of Superior, and it was rejected then too.
Mhm.
So there's something they don't like about it, and they're not willing to tell us.
Mhm.
Does it have to do with a match? Is there a match?
Now, the Lions Club put up the match. but it was just summarily rejected. This time it was rejected when Tim submitted it the first round. We made it to the third round with the town of Superior.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, I haven't really even heard of any other proposals, so
No.
we might as well get our iron in the fire.
Yeah,
All right, well, thank
I
you.
think it would be great.
Yeah,
All right.
so, is this just administrator, or we need to have an actual motion that we're
I suppose
putting
it
this
would
forward
be-
as our Mineral County proposal for the year?
Yeah, I would make that motion.
Okay.
We approve the hiking, biking path in St. Regis as the next CDBG planning grant.
Is there a match or anything from the county for that? Do you know?
I think the resort district
the
would take
resort
care of the
district.
match, yeah.
I'll second that then.
Okay, all in favor of Commissioner Simon's motion, say aye.
Right?
Aye, any opposed? Okay,
All right.
Okay.
good luck.
All right, well, thank
Yeah.
you. But I have one more for you. And it's to do with the new sidewalks that they're putting in St. Regis going up 135 and then the biking, or the trail that will go on the north side all the way up to about the cemetery. So it'll start in a month, and the sidewalks will go on the opposite side down to the OK Cafe. And so what the state has asked for us is for the resort district to sign on for the maintenance of that, the plowing, the cleaning out of the storm drains, the taking care of the lights and that sort of thing. And the resort district has done that. We've made a motion and said we'll do it. The state's concerned that if the resort district for some reason fails after 20 years, that they would be liable for it. What they would like is if the county would say if for some reason the resort district fails, that they would take responsibility for it. You know, I know with limited funds that would be a big concern for you and Lori, especially because it's not your constituents who you're representing. So Jessica Conley did some research on it, and she found out that you can create a what is it, a
Maintenance district.
maintenance district in there, just on a vote of the commissioners, and if
Yeah.
it's something that you guys would support,
Yeah.
and just say, for some reason, if the resort board failed, that we would go ahead and establish a resort or maintenance district
Yeah.
in that area, and be the responsibility of those taxpayers to
Taxpayers in
fund
that area.
it.
Kind of like the
But-
lighting district
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
down there.
Right, and I think the other, and we weren't sure which way to go, but the other way would be is just to extend the park district boundaries, and they could take it under their auspices. If it's something that you guys would be willing to do and look at, that whichever way you guys feel most comfortable, that would be less detrimental to your constituents. But if we could get your backing, that the county would ultimately take it over, and whether you guys set up the own board for that district, or you guys wanted to take it on, that would be the future county commissioners' prerogative, but we could go from there.
I can't see the resort board failing. At least you guys have.
No, and it's good for another 16 years,
Yeah.
so I think that's what's left on it,
Oh.
but I think the state wants forever, and that's just something that we can't
Right.
grant
Yeah.
them, so if that would be something you guys would take a look at, and maybe discuss, and if you could get back
Yeah.
to us, that would be great.
What's the ballpark amount of maintenance that you're, today's rates, what do you understand? The gutters and the whatever you mentioned would be?
You know, I would say it is probably, it's more than you think, especially in the winter when you're plowing that off, or it's hanging the flags, from
Yeah.
the light. I would say probably 15 hours a week, I would guess, so I mean, if you're extrapolating that over a course of a year, I mean, it's a pretty good chunk of change, but, it's really made the town.
So will those same lights go along?
Yeah, they'll all come out,
Well,
and
the
then,
flags and-
and all the flags will go up and down there.
Those are
so-
kind of catchy.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's not a cheap endeavor for anybody to
Mhm.
think that they want to take on. I mean, there's
Mhm.
substantial cost associated with it for sure, so. But anyway, do you guys have any questions in regards to that? Or?
No?
I
Okay.
don't think so.
And then, so will you guys just get back to us maybe after you discuss it and just kind of, and then we can come down and you can just kind of tell us your feelings on it, just how
Okay.
you want to do it?
Sure.
Sound
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
how soon in the future you need to firmed up?
How often do you guys meet?
Every Friday for sure, and then
Okay,
first week of the month it's Thursday and Friday.
okay. So they want to start in a month. Could we come down in a couple weeks? Would that be
Sure.
enough time for you? So
Yeah,
like in
just-
2 weeks? Okay.
Yeah. So like on the 2nd of June then?
Yeah, would that be fine?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. All right. well,
A preferable time slot, Casey's listening there for the schedule.
Does this time start working again, Casey? Like 10ish? Okay, so we'll do that.
Very good.
All right. Thank
Sounds
you guys
good.
very
All right.
much for your time.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you, Kenny.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess you could start with the minor updates. Get
Yeah,
the
and Jeff
important
is here.
stuff. Yeah, okay.
Come on, Jeff.
See you guys.
All right, thanks,
Yeah,
Kenny.
take care.
Hi. We have been trying to do this for about 2 months, so a lot of things got in the way. I'll start with the least important perhaps and work backwards in the event someone wants to be here for the pavement management grant. But weed abatement, we really didn't get a lot of mowing done at all at the airport last year, although we had some firefighting activity that got based out of there. We have some mullein and other plants that have grown to wing level height. And at a minimum, we need to do some mowing around the edges of the runway. And I didn't want to just go ask staff to do it without first asking you. So I'm here to say,
Oh.
I would like to chase down with T-Bone perhaps, Jason, and see if we can get at least a double run down the edge of the taxiways and the runways to make sure that those mullein and other tall plants get mowed. Second part of that is weed abatement. When you have your weed abatement contractor here, in the past, they did a fair amount of weed spraying at the airport, and we need to make sure that we get on that list this year. And in the past, we've paid for our proportionate share out of the airport fund, which the board recommends we do. So we want to make sure we get on the weed spraying list, and I'm sure it's real soon.
Yeah, Casey, you know what the phone number is over there for Dave? Maybe we'll just see what he says. Wow.
3525?
Is it 3525?
No, 3545.
Oh,
3545 is their schedule.
okay.
Hello,
Is this Emily?
this is Emily.
Hey, this is Roman looking for the weed man.
All right. 1 second and I'll transfer you over to him.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I heard him say holy crap.
Uh-oh.
Maybe not, maybe it's just, I don't hear so well.
Me either. I'm selective hearing.
This is Dave.
Hey, weed man, it's Roman.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we're in a little conference meeting with the airport board, Steve Temple, and going down some of the updates and to-dos, and we came to the topic of weeds. He's going to try to see if T-Bone can do some mowing of some of those mullein weeds that are about to hit airplane wings, but he was asking about weed spraying, and so I didn't know. I thought I'd just get you on the phone and let the one horse talk to the other one's mouth in terms of, is that a contractor duty, or is that something that you and Mike go out and do if he needs some weed sprayed out there this year?
Yeah, that's something that we do and have done, and then we typically build the airport board, and they've taken like some of the money they get from the Forest Service, I think, to pay for that. We've already done the bare ground work out there right along the pavement and around the fuel tanks and all that areas, about 5 acres worth. And then we were looking at later on doing some noxious weed work out in the rest of the grounds and property and such away from the runways. So that's sort of what we have planned for later on. But the bare ground work has all been done, so.
Dave, does bare ground work mean weed spraying?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
So the bare ground products are to give you that nice weed-free vegetative strip right along the runways and the lights and the fuel tanks, all of those areas.
Great.
And we've been battling with that horseweed or that has been coming up inside that vegetative strip, and even the chemical guys are really curious as to why it's breaking through that layer. So we tried a new product this year. We set up some photo plots and are sending them in because they're very interested because it's not supposed to do that. And I said, well, when we've done the bare ground work in the past, that horseweed has come up in there and gone about 5 feet tall. And that's what you're seeing in that first, couple of feet there off the pavement, especially on that west end, or the west end.
Yep. Is there any reason that we couldn't be out there and mow in that zone to knock that stuff down?
If you want to, I would prefer that you almost didn't.
Okay.
The only thing that's up there are old skeletons. Now, if the new stuff grows through this bare ground and comes up through that, then I would say certainly we could, talk to T-Bone about mowing it. The bare ground products, they lay down a barrier in the top half-inch of soil, and if you go in and you run over it with equipment or you stir it up, you break that barrier. So we're trying to keep that barrier intact, and I don't know if running the mower over it is enough to break it. I know if you run a grader over it, you'll break it. So I'm kind of curious to see, and make sure that gets undisturbed, if possible.
Will those skeletons just dry up and fall over during the summer?
Oh yeah, they're dry and falling over right now. I mean, it didn't take anything for us to, just kind of push them over. There's nothing to them right now. They're all dried up. So
okay.
It's not like having mullein out there, which is, a woody stalk. This stuff is pretty fragile. So, but it's sitting at right about 5 feet tall right now. We have a good picture with Mike as a frame of reference in it, and it's coming up to just about his face level. So
yeah, it's surprisingly tall. Yeah. Well, we could be out there in August doing pavement management work. So by then, your weed killer will have worked, right?
Right. Yeah. By then, it will have worked. So, and they want Wilbur Ellis wanted pictures at 30 days and 60 days after treatment. So they're kind of interested in that, and we did that right at the end of April there, so about that last week of April. So towards the end of the month here, we'll get a 30-day pictures, and then we'll get some 60 days in June.
Okay, that does it. Thank you.
And then I think as far as the other weed work that we do out in the grassed areas and the stuff away from the runways, we're going to kind of catch that up as we've got time and product available. So.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, hey, thank you much, Dave. We'll talk at you later.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see you later this morning, afternoonish.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All righty.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, the next least important issue is the airport car. We 3 years ago bought a car with a grant, $2,000 grant. Thought it was a good car, and it's not. It keeps getting stuck, and Gordon and I end up having to go get it. Petty Creek last summer, had to go save it down in Petty Creek and resurrect it and bring it home. And then it was up Fish Creek in
Without
spring.
a paddle.
And then the doozy, we had a pilot who came in and couldn't get out of the basin, so he got in the airport car and went up to Lookout. And the airport car quit on him up at Lookout. So I had to go skiing that day and go up and save the airport car once again. And I think it's kind of worn out its welcome with us. We're just over it, and we hid the key, so we don't have to go get it. But we are eligible for another $2,000 grant. We just need to submit. We get the money, and then we go buy another car, and that's what we'd like to do. Unless you have any objection or issues to that, it's 100% grant funded. It's a shame we can't get a better car than a $2,000 car, because we wouldn't be having these problems if it was a little better car. But we'll just hope that we can find something a little better this time for a $2,000 grant.
What kind of car did the keep breaking down?
It's a Ford Aerostar van.
Oh, okay.
And it's mechanical in that it draws through the coolant, and it's not going into the oil, so the coolant's going somewhere, and it doesn't leak anywhere, so it's hard to tell where we're losing all the coolant. But it lasts about, look out, and then it's done, and I'm going to take a couple of jugs of coolant up there and refill it and bring it home. And, it's when it gets to that point, it's killing the motor. Once the heat temp lights comes on, it's too late. You've done some damage somewhere. But it's not putting our best foot forward. Maybe we just need to go get another one. We're fortunate to have access to the $2,000 grant, so that we don't have to do anything out of pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess you could probably just, auction the other one off or sell it, or how are you going to move that thing?
It's an asset that you own, so we'll just try to figure out. At this point, I'm not sure it really has any value other than to load it up on Don Millen's truck and haul it to the recycler. But we'll try to sell it if we can. But it's your asset, so. All right. I'm not hearing any objection to it, so
No.
we'll proceed with the grant.
That makes the airports inviting to come to when there's a courtesy car.
Okay, the fuel system. If you recall, 2 years ago, over the winter, we lost the motherboard on our fuel system, which is what drives all that automated fuel system. And it was $2,000, and we were out of business for probably a month. We discovered it right melt out when we were ready to go fly, and there was no fuel. So we put the motherboard in and got it back up and operating, and it lasted us all through last summer. Well, we went out again this winter, and we have no more power in the fuel system. It won't run. We can turn it on manually and pump, and so for those local-based pilots, we can turn it on and pump fuel, and we can write a check to the county, and we can be even. But no visiting pilots can take fuel out of the system. So Gary Bullock, who's on our airport board, said, I'll have my guy come out there and take a look at it, and we'll figure out what's wrong with it. It's a neat resource we've got with the Bullocks. However, he said it's got to be a power supply. So he ordered a power supply and put a new power supply in, and it still doesn't work. And said, well, that wasn't it. We'll put our power supply back on the shelf, and we'll try another piece of the system. So far, it hasn't been the motherboard. So we went out and got another piece on order, and it should be here soon, and we'll try that, see if we can get it back up and operating. But I think where we're at is the power in that end is so uncertain during the winter, and we get such big spikes during the winter when the power tries to trip back on and then retrip that it's killing the fuel system. And so what I think our solution this year is going to be, once we get this fixed for the summer, will be to just turn the whole fuel system off during the winter. Nobody really uses it. There's no reason to leave it live and let it hurt itself with the power spikes of the winter. Come when we take the water system and drain it on our well, we'll just turn the fuel off and call it good. The few people that operate out of the airport during the winter are from Spokane or Seattle, and they fly in here with their big Pilatus to evacuate, medical evacuations and medical transports. But they're not going to be needing fuel, and so I think our hometown fix is we just turn it off all winter long and don't expose it to the power spikes. So
Did the newly installed three-phase power, does that have any benefits or advantages to the spikes that were occurring out there on the regular?
Well, first off, the failure of the motherboard happened before the three-phase power was in. So the short answer would probably be no. The three-phase power is a real asset to that end of the county and to the airport as well. And it's now brought all the way back to the windsock. So we've got access to three-phase power, which is a real marketing tool when we get to that point. But it's on a separate system, so it's unlikely that it's affecting the.
I guess I was going the other way with it, thinking, what if you tapped into the three-phase power? Is that type of power less susceptible to spikes and to
Oh,
problems?
that's a good question. I have
Yeah.
no idea. I guess we'd have to try to find out, but yeah, it's there, so we could.
Yeah.
But three-phase wouldn't be for a fuel system.
No, we need 110.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you were on the system that provided the three-phase.
If it's more reliable.
Right.
Yeah. Might take a heck of a transformer to step it
That's
down.
what
that
I'm
far.
thinking
Oh,
too. It could be
yeah.
pretty pricey.
Okay. Huh, that's just too bad that our
Well-
electricity can be create havoc like that.
Yeah, and it's a pretty sensitive system, obviously. It's happened several times before, and it always happens during the winter, and we don't really need it during the winter, so the easy answer for us is just shut it off during the winter. There's a few snowmobilers that like to pick up avgas for their sleds, because it's a lot cheaper than, I'm not sure it's cheaper, but it's sure simpler for them.
And
Yeah.
higher octane.
And higher octane, yeah, they love it
Yeah.
all, but it just isn't worth a couple $1,000s mistake.
Huh.
I mean, keep it available.
Do other airports have this problem that you know of? Jeff? or-
Not that I'm aware of. The system is about, what is it, about 12 years old now? The motherboard thing, if it's the motherboard going out, I mean, if it were to go out every year, then I would say that you got a big issue there, but, I mean, you know, after 12 years of operation, I mean, you're gonna end up having to put some money into these systems to keep them functional. So, you know, I don't know, but if you say you're having these power supplies, well, that could be a separate issue, so.
The other answer is, and we're looking to the fuel vendor to see if he's got a solution, is to put just a power conditioner in there, an uninterruptible power supply, or something that, you know, can pick up those spikes. Because we can still get spikes even during the summer that come through the electrical system. And what seems to happen, according to the fuel vendor, is that the power gets tripped, it's off, and now it's trying to reset. And they've got automatic resets on those lines, so it shoves a load through and it doesn't work, and it shoves another load through and it doesn't work. And I think Bob Hardbeck told me it tries 3 times. And that could be what does the damage. We just get more of them in the winter
Getting
than
a
any other
surge
time.
and a spike and
Yeah. Okay, so that's it on the fuel system. Now, pavement management, that's why Jeff's here to talk with us. We go through a cycle to maintain the pavement. It's a shame we don't have that kind of funding for our streets. But, because the real pavement management needs to happen out on the streets, doesn't it?
what would we fight about in Helena all legislative
I know,
session
yeah.
if we that kind of funding?
The airport is so fortunate because it has access to 90% and greater grant funding, and we'll walk you through that. But the FAA stands ready and willing to, you know, allocate a large chunk of money that gets set aside every year for the airports, and we get in line, and we haven't been able to use all of it in past years because there is a match that we have to pay. So it just keeps banking up, and then we get to the point we are right now where we're kind of to a use it or lose it cycle, and it's time to do pavement management at the airport. So we're here to kind of outline the FAA grant process and what we've done to fund as much of it as we can. We've got roughly, and I've rounded my numbers here, Jeff may want to step in, we've got roughly a $242,000 project to go in and redo the pavement, put a new seal coat on it, and then restripe it. They'll go in and they'll fix any potholes, chuck holes we might have.
Yeah, we do crack sealing and then a new fog seal over the top and then remark the whole airport.
And there's a lot of asphalt out there, so it's a big project. It includes the engineering. We have to go out to bid as a public agency and have a bid done. The FAA, if you've seen the document, you know, the document they prepare on our behalf is huge. It crosses the T's and dots the I's for the FAA. But it also requires some engineering that occurs so that we've got something that's a tight bid document. And then project supervision to make sure we get what we pay for at the end of the day. But all in, we're dealing with a $242,000 project. Now, the FAA has is willing to, and we need to approve that today, fund 90% of that work. And that leaves a local match of 10%. What the MDT, Montana Department of Transportation, and the Aeronautics Department says is, well, we have some grant money, and we'll pay up to 50% of your local match. And then in addition to that, they have loan money that they're willing to give us to fund whatever the rest is. So we really don't have any cash out of pocket, other than we have to incur a small grant and we have to repay the small loan. So the numbers look like this. The FAA steps in with $217,800,000. How close am I?
You're pretty close. Now, one thing I want to point out is we have not bid the project yet. We've designed it. It's ready to go out for bid. In fact, we'll get the advertisement going next week. So when we submit the grant application to the FAA, it's based on estimates for construction. And I usually get pretty conservative when I do my estimates, because if the bid prices come in lower, the FAA can just do a pen and ink change on the grant, and we don't have to go through all the signature process again. So likelihood is it's going to be less than a $242,000 project. In fact, I was out at the airport looking at the condition of the pavements before the meeting, and there's really not a lot of crack sealing that needs to be done on there. It's held up pretty well. So I'm guessing it's probably going to come in, anywhere from, $20,000 to $40,000 less than we're looking at here. But so yes, I just kind of wanted to point that out. We are estimating a $242,000 project. The 90% that the FAA would contribute to would be about $218,000, and then the local match would be $24,000.
Now, what we did is we went to the Montana Department of Transportation during their grant cycle and submitted for a grant and a loan, and they allocated on our behalf $9,192 as a grant. That's about 3.7% of the project. And then another $14,998 in the amount of a loan, which is the balance. So we've got funding lined up, both grants and loans, to do 100% of the work. The interest rate on the loan is 1.875%. So we need to borrow a couple $1 million and invest it.
Get some for the operation.
Right. Put it in Google stock, and everybody will be happy.
Yeah, put it in for $1 million for it.
But, so it's a low interest rate loan, and we need to repay about $1,800 a year. And that's roughly the amount of rent that we get on one of those hangars. So we've got a funding source to repay.
Are they all rented?
the loan. No, we've got one that's vacant. We had one leave. We thought we had a tenant for it, and Cindy provided the rental agreement, and haven't heard. He was all hot to go, and haven't heard back. So we're getting set to put our banner back up on the fence.
Was it one of the older ones or the newer ones?
Newer ones. And he was negotiating with Rutherford's to buy Rutherford's hangar. So what may have happened is he may have just bought Rutherford's hangar and his investment. The grant needs several actions from you. It needs you to approve the FAA submittal of the FAA grant. We need to have you approve the retention of our consultant, KLJ Engineering, to complete the remainder of the work on the grant. And then we need you to approve the MDT, which is some paperwork we've brought today for you, the Montana Department of Transportation grant and loan. And there's a actual agreement for the loan that you probably want county council to take a look at. It's the same as the ones we've used in the past, but we've got that for your approval as well. That's our document package, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much covers it, yeah. And then the only other thing that'll be forthcoming would be once we open bids and we get a contractor selected for the work, then there'll be the contract that the county would sign with the contractor to get that work under.
Do you happen to know, Jeff, offhand, how much it cost to do that same work the last time we did it?
I don't have the numbers, and some of the stuff wouldn't be applicable. The FAA's changed their spec on the fog seal now. They're using a totally different material, which tends to be a little bit more expensive. And then it's the competitive pricing of it just varies year to year. I've seen these things. I did a couple of these last year, and they were well under $200,000 for more pavement than you have, a lot more crack sealing. So I mean, it's conceivable that this could come in at $150,000.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, I could get the last one we did for you. It was about 6 years ago. Yeah.
I'm good then.
Okay.
So we will leave the document package with you today. And what we're hoping to do is get your approval on the FAA grant and the MDT grant and the MDT loan today.
FAA grant, the MBT loan, and
MDT grant.
Well, I think that one document she'll need to look, which one were you saying?
And before you sign, obviously, you can certainly have the county attorney review whatever is necessary. We need the documents back when?
As soon as possible. So the way the FAA works is they government crazy funding cycles, they have to program this before we open bids. So that's basically taking this money, this pool of money that sits out there, everybody has their entitlement to. This is working off of Superior's entitlements for this project. And if they don't have this in by a certain date, and I'm not sure what that date is, but it's coming up pretty soon, those funds roll back into the system, which will get recirculated into next year's programming. So we do have a certain time frame, but nobody's been breathing down my neck yet for it, but we need to get it done probably within the next couple weeks.
What document were you talking that the county attorney might need to look at?
There is a certificate of sponsor's attorney accepting the MDT grant. So the county attorney's got to at least complete this. There's a loan resolution.
So she's gonna be looking at it anyway.
Right, she'll look at it anyway, so we could, I don't know if you want to tentatively approve these so that it's just form that the attorney reviews, or whether you want to put it on your next agenda next week and approve it.
Is Ellen here today?
Yep.
Is she gonna have enough time?
And the FAA is, we can take care of the FAA one with their.
Okay. And there's a lot of signature stuff on here. Most of these are just sponsor certifications of stuff that you're just agreeing to the FAA's program and everything like that. The main one is just the grant application here. And by accepting the grant application, just so you're aware, if we don't get good bids, you're not obligated, you know.
Yeah, this is just a grant submittal, not a grant approval.
Right, yeah, they will be sending out, once we get all the final numbers in and they get the final grant amounts, then there'll be an actual grant offer made that has to be accepted, so.
So it comes back to you for approval, that's just a
Yeah.
submittal.
Yeah.
This is approval of MDT's loan and grant.
Yeah.
so, there was 4, FAA grant, MDT loan, MDT grant. What was the fourth item, or is that
That's
just?
the three.
No,
That's the
just
three. Yeah.
Okay, and so the FAA grant, like you said, no obligation, all we can kind of
Right.
decide on that.
This just basically tells the FAA that you have a project that you want them, that you're planning on using your funds this year, and so they can program it for you.
Oh, fourth item was the approval of our project manager,
Oh,
ALJ Engineering.
that's right. And so the MDT loan and the MDT grant are kind of associated and dovetail into the FAA grant. So, and that's what, I wonder if we could approve that contingent upon positive review of the county attorney, and then that way you wouldn't have to come back.
That was excellent.
Yeah. All right, so the first one is approval of the project manager of the airport, KLJ.
KLJ.
And you must be the J. Okay.
Yeah, I wish I was.
Okay. So,
I'm not even in there.
and so we have an airport board that we kind of let oversee. So I'll defer to the recommendation. I assume is the airport
Board's
board.
recommendation, yes.
All right. Do we have a motion to concur with the recommendation from the board and go with this project manager?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
Okay. All in favor of the motion to approve project manager as KLJ, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The next one, the FAA grant, the $242,000, possibly less. Submission of the grant. Do we want to submit to this federal dollars and utilize it?
Be fool not to.
Any motion on the floor?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor of Commissioner Johnson's motion for the FAA grant, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, then the other one is an MDT grant of approximately $9,192, and also the MDT loan of $14,998 at the low interest rate of 1.87. And I guess I'll move that we approve both the grant and the loan with contingency of approval of our county attorney's review that all is in order.
Call second?
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? All right.
Great. The last thing then on our list is the automated weather observation system. You know, we have had a desire to improve the airport with better weather reporting, and have reconciled ourselves to the fact that we're not going to get FAA support. Something's got to change in the system in order to get to the point where the FAA is willing to give us their 90% money to go do this. So Jeff had recommended that we look at other airports as a possible donor of equipment. FAA has changed their standards of AWOS, which is one of the dangers of getting in the business. All of a sudden they change the rules and now you've got to go buy a whole new system. But because there were a number of used systems out there that were no longer liked by the FAA, they were going to be available. So he helped us chase one down, and it on a donation basis. And we thought, you know, it's a good system, we'll just plug it in. We don't care if the FAA doesn't like it, we just need an automated weather observation system. It doesn't have to meet in IFR standards because it's just going to report local weather at our airport. Push came to shove and they wanted a whole bunch of money for it. The free deal wasn't so much a free deal any longer. And so we backed away and thought, well, if there was one, there may be more. And that's the point I think we're at, where we would like to go out and write a letter to a lot of the other airports and or do an ad in one of the aviation magazines to try to appropriate a donor system instead of paying $10,000 or $15,000 for something that another airport feels has real value. So we went to MDT and applied for a loan to do that, to fund the AWOS system. And they approved the loan, $16,000. Our thinking, the airport board's thinking is that we would like to continue to try to get something for free. There may be a cost to do electrical work to connect it and plug it in and get it operating, but we'd still like to try to get something at low cost, because a loan, you still have to repay a loan. And so that's kind of where we're at. Although they granted us a loan offer, we're not prepared to recommend to you that we take that. We try to like to find something that's really low cost or free, because we're pretty sure they're out there, it's just finding it. So we haven't given up on the AWOS, but we'd like to get a donor system from one of the other airports at this point. So you may hear that there's an AWOS loan component out there. That's what it's about, but we don't recommend we draw the money down. Any questions? If not, we're all done.
Oh,
Well, thank you.
good for me. Yeah.
We were easy. We came with funding sources.
And the airport board is full, everybody's still active
Yeah,
participating?
they are. Don
Yeah.
and Gary and Gordon are all very much
Good.
involved.
Oh.
They're all enthusiastic.
Good.
Don's still out there looking for another airplane.
Well, I commend you guys. You guys are doing an efficient and professional job
Yeah.
keeping things in order.
It's easy. When you've got funding sources, it's easy.
Yeah. But I mean, interest, not everybody's interested. I mean, we could be losing a lot of opportunity if we didn't
Oh,
have
yeah.
an active board that,
Yep.
Well, and we've got a very good
Mhm.
consultant. That helps a great deal, who stays on top of it. The problem with volunteers is they don't always stay on top of everything.
right, well, yeah, and that's the part I guess I'm trying to say, good job, guys. Yeah.
Have you heard anything down the pipe as to what the new administration might be? You know, a few years ago, they were gonna cut all the FAA programs and.
Well, I can tell you this much, we they put us in another bad spot again this year because the entitlement program we were talking about that funds the pavement maintenance, so you get like $150,000 a year, and then you can accrue up to 4 years worth of funds. So this year with this new bill they just passed, it only gives us funding through September. It means that they can only give us a little over 50% of this year's funds.
Oh.
So, you know, like in the case of Superior, we've been loaning money to other airports so we can keep turning over the freshness of our funding. And, you know, with an expectation that we'd have this project this year. And so we were kind of being, you know, conservative, keeping money here, and then all of a sudden they say, well, you're only going to get about 55% of that right now that we can give you right off the bat. It kind of puts us at a spot. But we're fortunate that we kind of watched it and we didn't go overboard, so we're still okay. But yeah, but it's
scary.
Yeah,
It
you
is.
just
I mean,
think, yeah.
so many things hang in the balance,
Right.
and you kind of, you know, and I was no fan of the past administration either, but at least there was mention of some of these things in occasional conversation, and now it's like, well, if I'm in favor of it, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know.
The only safe ground for the airport is that it's highly desirable from a federal policy standpoint.
Yeah.
They want airports.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, that wasn't even the consideration last time. It was they were going to make a blanket cut to the whole airport maintenance thing, and that was that. You know,
There has been one thing talked about and thrown around at the FAA level for a few years now, and that is moving away. Right now, I mean, I don't know. There's 80 small airports in Montana that are funded through the federal system. They've been throwing around this idea that unless you have so many based aircraft and have so many operations per year, you're going to fall out of that system. And so that would affect you guys. You guys would fall out of that because I mean, the number for Montana. I mean, there'd probably only be about 4 or 5 GA airports that would actually meet their criteria. So whether that actually ever goes through, I don't know. I think it'll be a lot. That's one of those that'll be fought out for a long time before they ever get to that point.
With Kalispell Airport?
Kalispell
The city
Airport,
airport,
that's just always an ongoing
battle.
They actually the council approved to go forward with the FAA program to upgrade the FAA standards and accept the federal dollars to do it. But it was a very split council vote. And 2 of the council members went out and they went door to door and they got this thing put on the ballot and the voters overturned it. And so they're back at square one again where they have an airport that's now not federally funded and now they have to start maintaining it, and now it's back on the issue. They're trying to figure out what to do with it. So, yeah.
That was always I grew up there.
Yeah.
It was always a busy little airport.
Still a busy airport.
Yeah. May not be the most ideal location, but you know, I didn't tell anybody to build their house there.
No, the airport's been there for a very long time. Yeah. So it's a sad deal.
It's funny how that goes.
Yeah.
Goes round and round like that.
It's a bit of a mess.
They put it on the ballot, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
we did get a Forest Service payment for the use of the airport for last season. And our agreement runs 3 years with the Forest Service, so they've got an automatic right to be there this summer. May not need them as much as we did in the dry year.
And one of those copies will be for the county to keep.
Is this the one that we're going to sign today, the FAA?
Yeah, I just need one of them back so that I can get that to the FAA.
Both signed and one back to you?
Yep, exactly.
And then Steve, this is the one that I'm going to forward up to Ellen, and then we'll...
Yep. Have her review both the loan resolution and then this attorney's certificate.
This is the application, okay.
And then let us know, you can let Jeff or I know in that document package, well, you'll need to know about the FA grant anyways. So when it's complete, you can get a hold of Jeff or I and we'll pick the documents up.
Have you dealt with her at all, Steve? With our new county attorney?
Nope, not yet.
Really good job.
Soon though, I'm working on a sewer agreement down in St. Regis.
Oh,
so.
I think I probably know which one. Down the street, not too far from me.
Right.
So Jeff, there's one document that says the county commissioner chair, and there's another one that says authorized rep, so you want me to sign the authorized rep?
Yeah, yep.
They think it's an RV park now. That's what the owners think.
I can just roll my eyes on that one.
Yeah, I know.
All I need to do is connect my business to the sewer. It's that simple. And you know, that's one of the challenges.
Oh, it's yours? Oh, I thought you were talking about that other one.
No, I'm not connected to the sewer.
Oh, really?
Fly shop yet.
Huh?
And I have to get an agreement with the county, or agreement with the sewer district that the county attorney writes.
Okay.
And so,
I thought you were talking, there's one down the street from me there that has about 5 or 6.
that one is controversial, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. and
It
Tim
was
works-
just a house and now it's like an RV park.
Yeah. Now it's like a lodge.
Yeah.
I mean, they built a big building there. But those are really good guys. I
This is
know
St.
that-
Regis?
Yeah, right across, and they're all fishermen, so they come into my shop.
Oh, that ain't the one I'm talking about either.
Oh,
There's another one downtown.
oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I'm out of the loop on that one.
Yeah, it's kind
But
of
the guys who
kind
built,
of a family operation.
oh, one of those.
Yeah.
I've got a few of those out on Mullen Road West.
Yeah, kind of like that. Maybe not quite that bad yet, but close. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm out of here then.
All right, well,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Good seeing you, Jeff.
We sign you up and then to be determined between.
And I know him, he's my neighbor.
Sure.
I've seen him around. I don't know exactly where he lives. but-
You know,
And you've kind of told them what a day in the life of JW is like here?
No, I don't want to scare him off.
Don't tell him that. huh?
Well, like he
You
knows
didn't
what.
say anything about the boiler, did
Hey, you know how to use duct tape and clothes hangers,
Yeah.
baling wire?
you? You didn't say anything to him
No,
about
he's
the boiler.
pretty sharp. He's
Well,
pretty sharp.
I'm sure there'll be custodial things.
And,
That's-
well, and there's little things too, like unlocking the doors, raising the flag.
Yeah, the flag's already under solar power anyway.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Cool. Goes up and down by itself.
No, it gets light.
Oh. Well, you said.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was. I said raising the flag. Yeah,
They sit around here all day and tell everybody what to do. They forget how things operate.
Well, it's the technological era, you know. I seen a chip truck the other day with a self tarper. You know, the poor guy doesn't have to get up there and drag that tarp.
I think
from one end to the
that's
other.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kelly's dump truck.
Those frickin' trip trucks, man.
Yeah.
A lot of guys get hurt doing that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's a good deal. That's my 2
Cool.
cents.
Well,
He's a good man.
let us make a phone
Well,
call and
yeah,
yeah, I'm all for it.
we'll find out about the pay issue, and we'll find out. Yeah, and then we'll get.
And hopefully you won't mind squeezing a little bit.
So have you seen an extra set of keys around?
Huh?
Apparently they were turned in and they weren't turned into me and.
They weren't turned into me.
Are we having a key deal again?
No, it's just,
Oh.
He said, she said.
Yeah, it's a he
We're just
said,
trying to
she said.
locate
We're
it,
trying to
except
locate
Apparently doesn't
the other
exist.
keys.
Apparently, the previous fill-in guy
Oh,
May have
whoa.
turned in keys to you or your desk or gave them to Laura. I mean, I
Didn't give
wonder.
them to me.
No, it wasn't Lori.
I don't think he
it
cares
was either
to
you or me.
Oh,
What the email
me or
said.
Dwayne. Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't seen her in.
Well, yeah, I haven't seen any keys. No one said anything to me about keys or anything.
Where are you at with redoing the locks? I thought we were.
Jim and Art and Ray's, who owns Art and Ray's, I have called him till I wore out the phone. He's got the order. He knows what needs to be done. I don't know if I told you folks what's going on with him.
Yeah, you moved.
Well, he got forced out of his building downtown, and he had to make a real quick move at the last minute. And setting up one of these shops, you just don't move on the weekend. It takes a while to get everything set up. And then he had 2 guys quit on him. So I'm hearing all this, and I'm sympathetic, but we also have needs.
Is that Art and Ray's? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, really?
Do you know Jim?
I've been in there a lot. I don't know everybody by name.
Oh, okay. And he came out here. He made me some keys. I had the entrance doors coming in the back out there where I come in rekeyed. I had the doors rekeyed because there were certain people that had keys around here that don't belong in there. But he never charged me for those keys. And I said just put them on the upcoming bill. Now I really wouldn't mind if he just waited till after July 1st, you know? Let's get started in the new, I mean, I'm not concerned about
Yeah, I'm just wondering where
maintenance
you're-
budget, but I'd just rather wait to get into the next,
I was just wondering where you were at with it.
if you all are okay with that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Noticed last night, they pulled out one of the backup sheriff's vehicles, and they put 54-1 in there,
yeah.
and it took the front wheels off. Wonder what's up with that.
Yeah, that's Matt. Matt's working on, he's got something going on with his suspension, and Matt's working on that.
Okay.
You know Matt?
From the Napa.
Yeah, that's Keith's brother, isn't it?
You know, I don't know if they're brothers or not. I just know him. You know, I've been
Yeah,
buying
he was
parts
over
down
there, he was there with the
He
deputies.
still works there.
With the deputies last night, they were talking about it.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's Matt.
I just happened to be sitting outside after back-to-back
We need to follow up on that.
scholarship and car show meetings and stuff. And
Yeah, certificate, yeah.
I was just parking in the shade on that side of the building, just kind of chilling for a few minutes, digesting all the hours and hours of meetings I've had.
Have Casey send him a memo.
And they were swapping rigs around there.
Yeah. He's, his suspension, he said it was so bad, it was just clanking like this.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we had to get it done. That's what he told me anyway. Well, have I pestered y'all enough? I try not to come in here on Fridays. You know, I probably come in here and bother y'all.
You don't bother us.
Public comment, yeah.
Just a reminder that the 20th, a week from tomorrow, is the Armed Forces Day Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be missing that because I'll be over in Deer Lodge for the Mullen Road Conference.
Cool.
Meanwhile, the various groups in St. Regis are formalizing or getting all their letters together of letters of concern or complaint about Pruitt property.
Oh,
Jessica's pulling all of them together for different groups, and they'll be mailed to pertinent agencies.
mm-hmm. Just curious, are the Pruitts aware that there's a big contingency of unhappy
They've
people?
been aware for
And
10 years,
And then it's moving
20
along to the next
years, however
stage?
long they've owned it.
It's just getting worse all the
Yeah.
time over
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
So they know there's a movement afoot?
Well, probably by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're also trespassing.
And they're not...
They're trespassing on national forest too, and so is Schober, so.
Oh, Schrober is too?
Behind those rental houses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's he got back there?
Some kind of a shelter cabin thing tucked in the woods, and all those backyards are on the forest. And that didn't seem to be a harm, so that was never looked into, but now he's got structures going back in there, and the renters, I think. And then we've been continuing to harass Wayne Dykstra about the Schober encroachment on Old Highway, on the old highway, and the safety issues with that. So,
Did you powwow face to face, or is this just letters? But if you drive up to the state shop, he's usually there at St. Regis shop.
he's not around very much.
Oh,
Because he covers so much territory
Yeah.
from Thompson Falls. But no, we had a long conversation, and then I think he was gonna get some follow-up calls from other citizens
mm-hmm.
to see if we can get any relief before the flea market, because, you know, they illegally park the noses of their trucks right to the fog line, so
Mhm.
people can't walk safely along there, and they just go out of their way to be a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so somebody needs to deal with it. So I guess that's all I got for now.
Oh, okay.
I have something.
Okay. you know.
I just want to bring to the commissioner's attention that there was graffiti in the new park over at Eva Horning. Somebody wrote, "Kill the Jews," painted a swastika with a picture of male genitals and Trump on the pool building over the...
It was on the slide, wasn't it?
There was a separate incident where there was some word simplex or something, I don't know what that
Yeah, I
meant.
couldn't
That
tell.
was in chalk on the slide, but over on the pool building.
Oh, it was paint, huh?
Is there, and then Roger was able to paint over the really bad stuff, but
It's crazy.
not a good thing for this county. It's not.
No, it's not.
We're already dealing with.
Do they have any
No, and I was I heard about it at the town council meeting, and then they're trying to figure out where to put cameras or whatever, who we do it, but just not something we want in our town, especially at the park, so that's all. Just wanted to bring it to your attention. And
When did that occur?
29th, I think. Somebody told Roger up at Town Pump, and he went over and Denise Trader has pictures of it.
Yeah,
I guess
I
it's been
see.
on
I see-
Facebook.
I see that she,
Whatever.
Thank you for being patient.
Yeah,
We had a
no
little
problem.
overrun on a executive.
That's all right. I don't have an appointment till 2, so
Oh,
that's good. Yeah.
okay. So yeah, we got Jen Donovan from the Health Department, Montana Healthy Families position discussion.
Yes. So I also wanted to touch base on rabies first, and I asked Ms. Ellen to stay, if you don't mind. So today I trained all the deputies on rabies.
Oh.
Which was good,
Mhm.
except for we're kind of in this flux position of how we're all gonna follow up on dog bites and stuff.
Communication, and the tiers of responsibility.
Yeah, who's gonna do what and all that. So I just wanted to touch. I'm gonna take over the dog bite stuff for Peggy, and so where are we with that? Any ideas? Like it's my understanding that she brought it to the Board of Health and said we need to figure out a policy,
Mhm.
and it was kind of put on hold, I believe. We went to the dog bite training or the annual rabies training on March 24th, and all of the previous guidance we had been going off of, they said this no longer is applicable. Every county now has to come up with their own policy. Good
Mhm.
luck.
Oh.
It's a huge liability. Good luck. And so we're like, oh my goodness, we need to figure it out. So AJ had contacted me and asked to put on a training, so I did that today, and it went fairly well. I was a little vague on, what we're going to have them do and what we're going to do, and we worked out a plan for now, but I said probably this is going to change. So what I was thinking is we need legal interpretation to know what the county's responsibility is of the laws, and then we just need to work through DPHHS gave a packet of
Mhm.
stuff and said, use this as your tool to answer all these questions and figure out your county's protocol. And it is a FEP deliverable coming up, and so we're gonna have to do it at some point. So I just thought, since she was here and you're here and I'm here,
Mhm.
and I'm taking over, we touch base about it.
that would be great.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jen, about you and I maybe getting together and we could try to come up with some kind of protocol and then
Present
have,
it?
yes, and then for public comment and all that kind of stuff.
Yep, that would be
That'd
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a Board of Health meeting coming up.
Oh, really?
I saw it on the agenda here somewhere.
And what's important too is because people don't always know what the other. This is difficult, Ellen, because we've got the law enforcement, the first one that gets the call, and of course they have the badge and the gun to maybe compel people to produce records or veterinarian numbers or take the dog itself, and then we've got the health department people who they have their responsibilities and the state requirements and checking on things. But then, so we need this relationship to get better between who's going to do what, because the deputies don't know what the health girls do and vice versa. But we don't want, like there was an example of a truck driver got out, let his dog out for a walk and bit somebody and then got in the truck and took off, and then the health gal had to go and try and find this driver who was in wherever, and license plate was all they had. Well, how does a nurse run a license plate with CGN and all that, unless you know somebody? So law enforcement needs to be involved so that they can do their job, but everyone kind of needs to know the steps.
Right.
So who do I get a hold of to get on your schedule?
You can just call our office. Lorna's up there. She's back
Okay.
now.
Okay.
3535.
Okay.
I've
And
got,
she'll set you up
I've got
something.
May 19th is the next Board of Health meeting. We might
Oh,
check
excellent.
with Candace and make sure. There she is.
Candace!
She heard us talking.
Wow.
Hey, you get back in here, you rabble rouser!
You just wandered the halls?
19th. Oh, that's next Friday.
We're talking with Jan about the dog bite thing, and the Board of Health meeting is coming up next Friday?
May 19th?
Scheduled, but there was some conflict of schedules, and I emailed Peggy, and I haven't heard back from her to find out when, so it won't be
Oh, so the conflict was with Peggy, or was it with some of our other players?
It was, well, wasn't a conflict with Peggy, but
Well,
checking with her to see when she could do it. And we didn't know what happened.
Because Jen might be the new front person,
I'm
so.
the new dog bite gal, so, but that's okay, so just add me. Next Friday did
Okay.
work for me, so that's good.
Oh, good, okay, I'll let you know then, or if you have it.
And then I'll try to meet with you before the next board.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And what information do you currently have, and what do you want to have before our meeting?
Whatever you got from this training that you just went to, where they say throw everything out, because I'm thinking back of, we had lots of dog cases in Anaconda, but I'm thinking
Okay.
now I may not be able to rely on my old information.
Yep.
So
Okay.
bring that and we'll try to knock
Sounds
something
good.
out.
I will schedule with Lorna then.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe
you got it.
between what you had at Anaconda and what she got from the training, you could.
That's what I was hoping. I was
Yeah.
thinking, I did a lot of dog cases.
Yeah.
And I remember bringing those up in my interview.
Huh?
Yeah.
And I think it was Mr. Donovan who said, oh, you're not going to have too many of those here. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Other than that, I complained to him about it. One of them.
Well, maybe he was just trying to reel me in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, great.
Is that Beaverhead? Anaconda, or is that
It's
their
Anaconda Deer Lodge County, and then there's Deer Lodge that's Powell County.
Yeah.
It's so confusing.
I know.
own?
And then-
Beaverhead is in there somewhere?
Yeah, Beaverhead is like Dillon.
Dillon.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
got it.
So,
Okay, cool.
so Jen, you're just dealing with the dog bite stuff. Then are you also going to be our new point of contact for rabies, or I mean for bats and any rabid animals we
You
have
might as
brought in the
well.
extension
I'll be
office?
just the rabies gal.
Because typically we would, when we get a bat
Rabies
brought
guy.
in, we have protocols to send it off to the diagnostic lab at Bozeman to be tested, and then those reports were CC'd back to Peggy at that time. So now we'll add you onto that contact list.
Yeah, that's good.
And especially if it's a bite too. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the big thing. with-
Well,
I would
it's
think, with
it's
the
not
health.
with a bat, you
With
can't
anything.
even, you can't even go with a bite.
Yeah.
It's if it's present in the house where there's people,
Yeah.
you pretty much have to have it tested because
Yeah.
you don't necessarily feel a bat bite like you do a
Yes.
dog bite.
Yeah.
And we do deal with, last couple of years have been good, but some years we'll deal with 12, 15 bats a year, and I'll catch a lot of them, and I have pretty exposure
Oh, you do?
titers already, so.
It's good to know.
Because we handle skunks, and also the vertebrate pest,
Okay.
so
It's good to know.
anything that comes into that, we have been known to go out and collect, so. But yeah, I will add that to our list and let Emily know.
Okay, yep.
Perfect,
Works for
thank
me.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Nice to meet you too. All
Maybe
right, I'll talk to
that's
you soon.
something too. We got gifted some new live cage traps. And I mean, some of them are big enough to hold large coyotes and such in. So if maybe in your department, if the deputies or something need something like that, a live
They
trap
do.
to carry a dog.
They do. They had one where they were saying, we have no place to put this
Okay.
dog. If we
We've
see
got-
the dog, what do we do with him?
Yeah, I've got two. I mean, they would handle everything up to, I would say, about lap German Shepherd size. If we got a Great Dane or a Pyrenees, we'd be best to know, but we can put them in the regular lockup.
Yeah.
No, that's really good to know, because I was talking to them about rabies today, and telling them we're specifically focusing on pets, but we also have all these other critters that could potentially be rabid. In Montana, it's mostly bats and skunks, but you could have a coyote or something else.
But you can have a
and so-
cow and any
Yeah,
mammal.
any kind of a
Well, no,
livestock.
yeah, it's-
Really?
we've had rabid cows.
Pigs or, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I know, it's pretty
Any
interesting.
any mammal can carry rabies. So.
Huh.
Wow.
And rabies kills you, so. No more than-
That would be horrible to be bit by a cow.
That's one of the veterinarians I used to work for. He got exposed to it through a cow.
Really?
That's why cows are notorious for eating whatever's on the ground. So he probably ate up a dead bat or something on the ground. And just,
Oh.
then became a carrier, and yeah, it's
Wow.
freaky stuff.
Interesting.
So
And that's different than mad cow disease, right?
very different. Yes.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, thank
See you later.
So, the real reason I came in was because April handed in her resignation letter. So sad.
So what's she gonna do?
She's actually moving into the school counselor position in
I've
St.
heard
Regis.
that.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so that's okay. She's she loves kids, and she's gonna be awesome no matter where she's at.
It is.
So
Yeah.
we need to replace her because her current caseload is 19. She has quite a few kids aging out of the program, but also you lose families when you change home visitors. You know, you just develop such a connection with your person. So in efforts to minimize our attrition rates, we want to hopefully post next week. Let it go for about 2 weeks, maybe till the end of like the 26th or so, and then hire and give this new person about a month to train with April and go to visit all the families a couple times. So hopefully they can develop a little bit of a relationship and not quit the program when she goes. So, is that okay? For hire? Okay.
Just work with Casey to
get all that
to get
worked
everything,
out. Okay.
Is there going to be difficulty, you think, Jen? Does it require any special degree or anything like that?
Well, no. The minimum requirement for a home visitor is a GED, but you have to have at least 2 years of supervised work experience working with children and families. And so that's where it gets a little bit complicated. They can have some college, but they have to have a certain number of hours, or ideally they have a degree. You have to have a degree in order to supervise the program, and so no. But it's just a matter of who applies. You know? And then in the big scheme of the whole health department staffing, we're trying to figure out with changes that are coming, you know, and how it's all going to work out. So are there any plans for meetings like with you guys in the health department to discuss what budgets might look like in the upcoming year, or staffing might look like, or anything like that?
Well, we'll be starting on the budgets here next month, and so we'll be able to have powwows, and Jessica doesn't work down here all the time, only kind of as needed now, and so she'll come in and help with our forecasting. Of course, it's always somewhat difficult to forecast when we're on a July to July budget and the feds are October to October, and then we've got all this problem going on where they're not giving us the money yet, or if they do, they'll give it at the last minute. But we'll do our best to work with. A lot of yours are grants, so we should be able to still predict how things can run in your department. But we're still waiting for the PILT and the SRS, and then the Trump administration is. Well, they forestalled till September with the.
Yeah, just did a continuing resolution, I guess.
For what?
Oh, for the budget to keep running, so they
the government was going to shut
Oh,
down.
yeah.
That kind of.
They just postponed it till September.
All those antics that affect us.
That's complex.
For planning, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be starting. Have we started to put together any times for meetings on that yet, Casey?
We'd like to be like sooner rather than
Well,
later.
yeah, I mean, if you,
Just right now?
Just set up a time with Casey to come in if you want to talk about next year's budgets or what you're looking at.
What your needs are.
What your needs are.
We got some kind
Yeah,
of
we're
idea,
already
too,
going to be in June.
Yeah.
So.
You know,
because it's June's right here,
Yeah.
and then July starts, and oh my goodness. And so, we're trying to break down all the different jobs that we have in our health department as RN only, ones that RNs are doing but don't necessarily have to be RNs, and then ones that are non-RN specific. And it matters because when I'm looking to hire for my PAT home visitor, do I do a half-time PAT and another RN, or you know what I mean? Just trying to look at the hours and the humans and figure out how we're going to get it done or what has to go. You know what I mean? So I think I'll pass that on, and we'll just get a time with Casey and chat with you guys about what we anticipate needing for the future. And then if we're talking about like staffing issues, does that have to be closed or can it be open?
Oh, it's
You can talk about people. What
I mean,
isn't it up to the individual?
If there's issues.
Well, if it's a personnel matter.
Oh, okay.
Like if so-and-so is not doing their work right and you think they need to go, then, then we're talking about people's performance and their personality. But we're just talking about general positions in the department,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we will get that out, and hopefully we find the perfect person to replace April, if that's even possible.
So she went to the school?
Yeah, she's been working on her master's degree in counseling, and so this is just a really good fit.
And what is she doing down there?
She's going to be the counselor at the school in St. Regis.
To replace?
To replace Sarah Etter. She's moving back to Washington.
Yeah.
So, any questions for me or our health department or anything like that?
How's things going over there?
Busy. Peggy's on vacation right now, and we we actually yesterday got 3 communicable disease cases and another one today, and 2 of them are extremely complex. And so Barb's been working.
Been some nasty stuff going
Oh my
around. with
goodness, it's been very interesting. We had kind of a reprieve in April, but now it's just full force. And so, yeah, so we're working on those right now. But all in all, I think Barb and I are ready for school to get over so we can resettle and get things organized and move forward.
And Ashley's well versed on your billing and all that stuff.
Yeah, she seems to be.
Good,
Yeah,
good.
she's figuring it out. Ashley's pretty quick.
Good.
I guess it's a personnel issue.
Oh,
It's not an issue.
well, that's a
It's
compliment, though.
She's
Yeah,
quick.
it's
You
a
know, we
compliment.
asked her,
Yeah.
can you, like, we're preparing for the health fair on May 20th, and we thought that doing blood pressure screenings would be good. And so she's trying to make up some cards, and in about 15 minutes, she makes this beautiful thing on the computer, and she's like,
Wow.
okay, now I'm going to figure out how to print it out. And
Yeah.
she just does it.
Wow.
And I say, Ashley, can you do it? And she's like, done.
Yeah.
What's next?
I know.
It's awesome.
I'd be horrible. I don't know computers at all, but
Well, Barb said that would take me 4 days, Ashley,
Yeah.
and it would still not line up.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Good.
All right. So
Well, I know
will-
that you guys are working probably on a shoestring and
Yeah.
not feeling appreciated down the street out of the mix, but we're having, I mean, just so you know, the same money problems are hitting the library and the fair
Yeah.
board. And, I mean, last year the sheriff's office made the headlines, but we really want things to turn around for everybody. So our hearts are with you.
Yep. Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang in there, maybe things will get better. I've noticed some
And
new
we-
houses being built, so.
I know.
If nobody said anything to you, we did vote this morning to maintain the current healthcare package
Oh, that's
in
great.
full. So-
Even though there was more money, we thought at least we could try to swing that everybody's way to assuage any morale issues.
That's a big deal. The one thing I will bring up, there's somebody called the Missouri Headwaters Foundation. Does this ring a bell at all? They recently came and talked to our Healthy Communities Coalition meeting last week, and actually I think that was on Tuesday. I don't even know what day it is. It was Tuesday. Anyways, it's a foundation that was created by the selling of Community Hospital, and right now they're traveling around to all the counties on the west of the Great Divide, or the Continental Divide, Great Divide. Continental Divide. Oh my gosh, it's Friday afternoon. And they are asking everyone what their major health concerns are, and what they're going to do is they're going to take the top priorities, figure out their money, and then they're going to be creating a bunch of grants for the counties specific to these different areas. So that
So
is
it's called
coming.
Missouri Headwaters?
Headwaters Foundation.
Because there's a Headwaters.
In Bozeman.
Yeah, the one that does all the.
Headwaters Economic.
Yeah.
something.
No, it's
Different.
brand new.
Huh,
It's brand
cool.
new. I think they just got started, and it's really exciting. They have a lot of money, and so those are anticipated
We
to
like
come
that
out in
part.
18.
Yeah.
We do too. So they're just gathering information. If you have any
Good.
thoughts, I'm sure they'd love to hear about it. So,
Right.
all right.
Good.
Well, thanks for your time.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
So I will meet with Ellen, and I'll tell Peg to schedule a time so we can come in and chat with you about what we're anticipating for
Yeah.
next year's budget. And
Yeah. And if you need help with the advertisement, Casey probably can help you with the.
Yeah,
have
just
a
get with
couple ready to
Casey
go.
as far as,
I might actually
you
just
know,
get them here. I'll give it to you right now.
hiring procedures.
Yeah.
1707,
I would second that.
check number 16189 through 16206.
I'd second that.
16206.
Yeah, 16189 to 16206.
Did you get the amount or want that repeated?
104-1707.
104-1707.
Oh, 7.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Aye, yeah. I was reading, that was deep into the minutes.
Deep in thought.
So Lori, on this one statement here, it says Lori gave an update regarding the following. Hospital board is discussing finances. Human Resources Council is going up for
Yeah,
bid.
I've got changes in there.
What does that mean?
Where's that one at?
Oh, it's just before Friday.
Oh, it should be Lori gave an update regarding the following. Hospital board is discussing finances, and then Human Resource Council. Human Resource Council's senior housing project.
Oh, in St. Regis?
No, this one over here. The 3-unit, they bought, the corner, I don't know what the street names are. You go down the street and where it makes a jog.
Yeah.
Right, they bought that corner.
Oh.
And they're putting 3,
Oh.
it's kind of like Edna Courts.
Yeah.
3 projects.
Cool.
The University of Montana, I guess it's their wood working class or whatever. They're building one of the units.
Oh, really?
And then they'll transport it out here, and then the other 2 units will be going up to bid for the other 2 units. But anyway, it should be Human Resource Council's senior housing project is going up for bid possibly. On that one. And then you'll have to call on the field trip with the Forest Service.
Their name
You'll have
titles.
you'll have to get that bin. Willie Peck is with Tricon, then it's Wanda Smith.
You do not know how to spell Smith?
She's with the Forest Service. Carol Johnson's with the Forest, and then that bin, I don't know. And then Skylar Hoffer.
Hoefer, I think.
HOE?
Yeah,
Yeah.
FER is with Tricon. And then you and me and Roman. On the department head meetings, do you usually put who they are or what? I mean,
And the
department
present,
head?
she's got them in present.
Okay.
Those present.
Okay, and then that Kelly Dillon, you'll have to put as citizen.
Oh, not as town,
What's that?
not as the town council, or?
I think he was here just mainly as a citizen, wasn't
Okay.
he?
When?
During the department head meeting.
Oh, I wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
And while you're changing his name, you spelled it like he's a Frenchman. Kelly Dillon. Take the I out. It's Dylan. Maybe he liked Dillon better, but.
Maybe she knows something we don't.
And then down at Kevin gave updates on the following CDBG updates. And then it should be MCRC, which
Okay.
is Mineral County Resource Coalition. And then, let's see. And then right underneath that, you've got loan fund is about out. It's the revolving loan fund. And then Mary Ippish is IPPISH.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna be really disappointed when I go home. I let the fire go out
Mhm.
last night because it was too nice.
Then under gravel screening bid opening, should be a little O on Jason Open, the bid was from Donegal.
What was that correction?
Well, she's got Jason Open and she's got a capital O for O.
Oh. Like that's his name? Jason opened.
Yeah. Did you find it?
Yep.
And maybe a dollar sign in front of the $4.30 a yard. And then on the motions, Commissioner Simons made a motion to approve the bid to Donald Gall. Commissioner Johnston should be seconded the motion, because I don't make a motion to second. Don't I just second the motion?
Yeah.
Should be, on all those, it should be seconded the motion, then all in favor, motion carries. Um, Do you think we should add where it says on the dust abatement, 600 feet to Tin Can Alley, should we put in St. Regis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Add in St. Regis to that?
This will amp it up, but we can add that.
And then down next to the thing, Fish Creek Road, on that Brian Story, he's the, what is he?
Yeah, what is his title?
What, didn't he say he was contracting officer for roads or something? And then his title.
I guess Casey can get that from Carol.
Project engineer.
Project engineering,
He's
yeah.
There you go.
Yep, zone, whatever. And it should be the West Fork Fish Creek Road. Then Sear Iron, the I should be capitalized. We will cover this work in 30,000 to have county do the work on the roads. Jason said he will probably bid out the work if they can't perform the work. Okay, on fish, wildlife, and parks, the wildlife should be capitalized. Same with the maintain the road, since the main Fish Creek should be capitalized. And then goes through, it should be the wildlife management area, not the wilderness area.
Although that was our feeling.
Yeah, might as well be wilderness. Then Jason said they will review, sign and deliver agreement by Monday. And then I think that Andina hires, it's Anndia. That's how you spell her name. And then maybe put a dollar sign in front of the 1,500.
Yeah, and
Should be, Deb introduced the members and was here to explain her story.
Of being.
$1,500 over budget.
Period.
And then this week,
She applied this week.
well, what they did is this week, they received $1,500 from Blackfoot. Right?
As a donation.
As a donation.
Budget as a whole.
And then it
is
says,
never done.
Jessica said if you look at the budget as a whole, WHOLE.
It's a really deep one.
And as, not at, you have look at budget at a whole. Like if you go to the fence and look at a hole, look through and see a budget. Look at budget at a hole. Just teasing you, Casey.
Okay, where are we at?
So Jessica said if you look at the budget as a whole, you have overspent your budget and the revenue side is lacking as well.
Mm-hmm. Brenda's on track. Donations are not where they are. They
Who said
should be.
Maybe, because that was on her
Should be.
the donations for revenue have not been met or something. Or were they at zero? Weren't they at zero?
Yeah, donations are not where they should be.
Other revenue, that's what it was. Her other revenue donations have not been met. And are at zero. They had donations and they had rent, donations, and other revenue. Didn't they have other revenue on that? Yeah, basically they're donations from revenue donations are not
Where they should be.
Mhm.
I was right. And she suggested that the supply budget be broken down further by line items such as entertainment. Jessica said they did that this year and they need to designate which account and object code to take it out of. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
So it just says, she suggested that the supply budget, instead of take out was and put B.
Broken down.
Further by line items such as entertainment. Jessica said that they did that this year. Put this in there.
Oh, this. I'm like, what am I missing? Got it.
Yeah. And then Nicole clarified, put a small c instead of a capital C. That when the claims come in, she designated, should be from the class code. Claims come in, she
From
inserts the class code. Isn't that what she does? Deb wasn't doing it, Nicole was doing it. So she put,
So-
Nicole clarified that when the claims come in, she inserts the class code.
Yeah.
When the claims come in without
Yeah,
a fund designation,
yeah.
Nicole
Nicole inserts it or
she has to
something.
interpret it from the definition.
Yeah. And applies the class code.
Yeah. So then Jessica made a recommendation that Deb Davis or the Fair Board designate the amount and the fund amount correctly.
So again, just made a recommendation to,
Oh, so go ahead, start with
Restart
Nicole.
with Nicole.
Nicole clarified, what do you got?
okay, so Nicole clarified that when the claims
Come
come
in.
in without a class code, she designates the class code from the definition.
That Deb
The definition provided.
provided, yeah.
Jessica made a recommendation to designate the amount
Yeah, so
correctly.
Jessica basically made a recommendation that the Fair Board or Deb Davis provide the fund and code correctly, so that, basically so that Nicole doesn't have to guess.
Okay, so Jessica made a recommendation to designate the class code and the amount correctly?
Let the Fair Board do it, or Deb does it. I mean, that's, if we're just saying Jessica made a recommendation to designate the amount correctly, it sounds like she's making that
Who does it?
recommendation to the previous conversation of Nicole. Nicole's not doing anything wrong, she's just left to
Yeah.
interpret it. So Jessica's recommendation is that the Fair Board and the Secretary correctly code the claims prior to submitting them. Is that better to say that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So Jessica,
Yep, made a recommendation to the Fair Board to designate the class code and amount correctly prior to submitting the claim or then.
yeah,
Yeah.
the claim, yeah.
Okay, then it should go, Deb shared that they called Blackfoot regarding their courtesy phone, which they only use during the fair. They have been being charged when not in use. And then take out before the fair and they have the bill removed, just take out that part of the sentence. So you want to reread that?
They have been being charged when not in use. Oh, back it up. Deb shared that they called Blackfoot regarding the courtesy phone, which is only used during the fair. They have been being charged when not in use.
And then put, they will be working with Blackfoot to get a refund. That's already in there, just put a capital T.
And you're to so.
Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Andina should be A-N-N-D.
Yeah, I went through and I
Okay.
fixed all those.
Okay, Andina asked what the magic number to be flush is. Jessica said make it $2,000 in donation and an additional $1,500 in donations. And that would
So,
get them to zero. I don't know how you.
yeah, at the Andina thing, start back there, Keith. Andina asked what the magic number the board needs to target in order to be flush would be. And then Jessica said, Andina asked, what is the magic number the fair board needs to target in order to be flush?
Okay.
Jessica replied, they need $2,000 in donations and an additional $1,500 in another donation?
Well, I would just say an additional 1,500, and that would get them to zero.
Because actually what she said was the 1,500 of Blackfoot covered that, so then they need the other 2,000
Yeah, but that would just get them,
flush.
yeah, so.
Yeah.
So Jessica replied, $2,000 in donations and an additional $1,500.
And that would get them to zero. And then put, Jessica said this year
Okay.
they should try to keep the costs down. I don't know how you want to say that. You may have to use $25,000 as a budget figure to be conservative.
Yeah.
Try to keep.
Well, actually, because that was a question there, right? They said,
Aim
mhm.
for 10,000. Okay, so Jessica said this year to try to keep the cost down, you may have to aim for 25,000 just to be conservative.
Because that was like on the heels of a question. They were wondering, how should we start planning for the fair when we don't know the budget yet? Because that whole August thing and July budget. So Jessica suggested the Fair Board plan today around a budget of $25,000 to be conservative. Is that,
Say that one more time.
You know, because I had said something about, well, they needed to, what was after that, but I said, you know, when we were talking about the $25,000, I was, you know, I had said that they needed to look at what their utilities were, what their salaries were, you know, with the, you don't have to put that in there. It's
I think that maybe, right here,
But
since
just
you've
the
already kind of.
$25,000,
How about, Dave suggested that part of the overspending of the budget might have something to do with no longer using the old forms.
Budget forms.
Yeah, budget forms. He is still confused when looking at the Black Mountain printout. Dave recommended reviewing the process and give the understanding of how to read it, the Black Mountain, and teach. Yeah, so that would be better than trying to go backwards too much, so. You know, I'm probably talking too fast, so tell me, Casey. So back up now, what do you got at the Dave part?
So I have, so let's see where we at. Dave suggested the part of overspending the budget may have something to do with still using the old budget forms. He's still confused when looking at Black Mountain.
Okay, good.
Dave recommended reviewing the process and give the understanding of how to read it and teach how to do so. So how to read the report
Mhm.
and teach how to.
Well, basically, you said that, how to understand and how to read it.
Okay.
You can just scratch out and how to teach to do so. Jessica, well, I'll wait till you get that done.
Okay.
Jessica clarified that the Fair Board does in fact get a report every month, and if they need help understanding it, they should try and call. And then Deb tried to schedule an appointment. Deb said she tried to schedule an appointment.
And then Rachel asked if they were the only ones over budget. Should it be how the departments were paying close attention to their budgets? How do you want to do that?
Oh. Rachel asked if they were the only, should we say department over budget?
Yeah.
Rachel asked if they were the only department over
Departments.
budget. Jessica said yes, they were. And she was impressed by how other departments were paying close attention to their budgets. Jessica recommended
Of the report. Oh, go ahead.
Recommended that the Fair Board look at the revenue side of the report.
Yeah, so
Yeah, Jessica recommended that they look at both that they pay attention, Jessica recommended that they look but the revenue side as well. That's where the problem was. Jessica recommended they look at not only the expenditure side of the budget, but the revenue side as well.
And Roman recommended having a sponsor sign, or, sponsor sign to bring in money. Sponsor sign.
Yeah.
Just flip the sign in the sponsor. Recommended having sponsors, sponsor signs.
Selling.
Selling sponsor
Roman
signs.
recommended selling sponsor signs
To bring in money.
at the fair to
Additional
bring in money, yeah. Roman recommended selling sponsor signs at the fair to bring in money.
And Dina asked when would they know theirs THEIR amount? Their budget amount?
Budgeted amount.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioners, I think, should be capital C. Clarify that they are in support of the fair.
Yeah.
Should federal be capitalized?
Oh, federal, probably, yeah.
Roman explained they rely on federal, should be capital monies, and Deb should be capitalized. Understood. If they don't get the money, they don't have a fair. And stated it will be a loss to the county if they lose Pilton SRS.
Yeah, Dwayne stated, well, maybe he did say we lose the whole county. I don't know what he...
I don't know what he said either.
We're gonna lose the whole damn county. We don't get...
You just said it'll be a loss to the county if we
Mhm.
don't,
Yeah.
if we lose Pilton SRS.
It will be a devastating loss. We can, does Dwayne ever use that word, devastating?
Loss.
To the county if they lose Pilton SRS.
Alright.
Okay, Jessica and Tim
And I
read.
add their titles.
Okay, discuss the Title III fund expenditures, comma, public notice and 45-day comment period. Should be a small p for period. Period, and then put a period. What they will be doing, let's see. Let's see, not that, Jessica. Comment period. Oh, yeah, comment period, and then a little a.
Or put they discussed.
Yeah, what they will be doing to create Title III grant coordinator and project planning.
Raining pretty good out there now.
Good, Kelly was hoping it would. Okay, and then Commissioner Johnson made a motion to approve claims, and then we need to put the amount in there.
Oh.
In the amount of whatever it was. And then put Commissioner Simons, take out made a motion, put seconded the motion. All in favor, motion carried. The same with down at the next one too. Commissioner Johnson made a motion to approve minutes. Commissioner Zalawi seconded the motion contingent upon the changes.